Hello, Miga again.
Hello. Hello and good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So
Hello, Patsy.
We can stop screen sharing. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so everybody is here. So let's start the session. So on behalf of the Arch College of Design and Business, I welcome all our panelists and the attendees. Our today's session focuses on the importance of international degree pathways, the relevance of international education in today's world, and how it can help in building a global perspective among students. Arch has been at the nucleus of innovative design-centric interactions and activities since its inception in 2000. In past 22 years, our emphasis is not only on the quality of education, but also on the development of necessary skills and the integration of entrepreneurship in our curriculum. Having started its delivery of Pearson Level 5 HND, the Higher National Diploma, in 2013, Arch is presently accredited to deliver 6 BTech Level 5 HND qualifications in art and design. And about the international design education, international degree pathways. So in the next 1.5 hours with our distinguished panelists, we would unfold various areas for all the parents, students who are attending with us, and even there are a lot of educators who have joined in for the session. So the session would help us, the students to get equipped with skills, knowledge, and the understanding necessary to achieve high performance in the global creative industry sector, to help them understand local, regional, and global context of creative industries, and have a global outlook to aspire to take international career pathways. We will be focusing on education and training for a range of careers in creative industries, which include graphic design to photography to digital design, fashion, product design, interior design, and art practices. So today with me on the panel, we have very prominent and well-experienced people. So we have Ms. Natalie Evans. She is the International Coordinator and Senior Lecturer for Fashion Business at Manchester Fashion Institute, Manchester Metropolitan University, UK. So welcome, Natalie.
Hello, thank you.
Along with her, we have Dr. Patsy Perry. She's a senior lecturer in fashion marketing in the Department of Materials and teaches students on fashion business. Welcome, Dr. Patsy.
Thank you.
So we have with us Mr.
Please note, I'm
Singh.
a reader in fashion marketing at Manchester Fashion Institute, not School of Materials. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Noted. Yeah. So then we have Mr. Baljit Singh. He's the regional manager, Pearson, India.
Thank you and good evening to all.
So we have with us Mrs. Archana Sunana, a founder and director.
Thank you, Megha, for having me over here. And I welcome all our guests, our esteemed guests today, they're going to be sharing their experience. And I'm sure that it's going to enrich our students in terms of the possibilities of the future. Thank you.
Along with her, we have Mr. Manan Surana. So Manan is a young graduate, and he has entered into academics. He's coordinating academics at Arch College. And in this some time, we will be joined by Professor Pradyuman Vyas. He's the Chief Advisor, Academic Affairs and Alliances at the Arch College. He's a former Director of National Institute of Design. Now, talking about today's flow of the session, we will start with Mr. Baljit, and we will talk about, Pearson qualifications and its recognition across the world. Then we will move to Ms. Natalie and Dr. Perry, where we'll be talking about the programs offered by MMU, various kind of progression opportunities, how students get any kind of scholarships or financial assistance from the institutions abroad. Then we would have Pradyuman sir talking about design education in the global context. Then it would be followed with Archana ma'am, wherein she would be sharing her experience, how international education can help a student develop their perspective globally, both for professional and entrepreneurial development. It will be all about the 360 development, which we will talk about here. And then it would be followed up by a question answer session. So if you have any questions, you can write them in the Q&A section, and we will be taking all the questions towards the end of the session. So before beginning with Biljit, I would like to, we'd like to show a small video here, which is an experience by one of our student and the parent who has recently, progressed for an international education to UCLan. So can we have the video, please?
Hi, my name is Tanushree Sharma. I have completed 2 years of my BA Interior Design course, which is an international course, and now I'm going further for my bachelor's degree in UCLan, that is in UK. So specifically speaking, Arch has given me a lot of knowledge in design from it has polished me from my basics and created a designer. I want to thank all of my faculties, my supporting members, my colleagues in this college who have helped me thrive to these 2 years and developed a beautiful interior designer in me. Thank you.
My name is Pavan Sharma, and my daughter Tanushree Sharma was studying here at this Arch Institute. She successfully completed her 2 years from this institute, and now she is heading to UCLan University in UK. Her 2 years here in this institute has been very good. She has learned a lot of new skills, which was instrumental in her creating her portfolio, basis which she was given the admission for the 3rd year in UCLan University. And along with this, she's been offered a good scholarship for her 3rd year study in UCLan. So my sincere thanks to the faculties here at this Arch College and to the entire management team for having groomed my daughter well for her further studies in UK.
Thank you. So you would have heard about the HND in the video or about the Pearson. So the question would come, what is Pearson? What is this body? What qualifications do they offer? How it supports into the progression? Where all can I go across the world? So I have Biljit here who will take us through from Pearson as an awarding body to its recognition all across the globe. So over to you, Biljit.
Thank you so very much, Megha. Just a quick check. Would you be running the PowerPoint, or do you want me to share the screen?
I'm okay both the ways. I can do it.
Sure. Just allow me to bring the PowerPoint on the screen.
Okay.
Just give me a thumbs up once we're ready and we can see the deck on the screen.
Yes.
Is it there for all of us?
It is.
Okay, great. Good evening one more time, all of you. Thank you so very much, Arch College, for organizing this webinar, this interactive session with those focus group of learners, those who are keen to, make their career in art and design and in fashion industry. I take this opportunity to promote and speak about Pearson in terms of our offering around, art and design, but I'll take a little moment to speak around the background of Pearson, that's what all Pearson has been doing. Going by, one moment, please. It looks like I do not have access, so the slides are not moving.
I can share. I mean, if you want, I can do that here.
If you could, please.
Give me a second, please. Yeah.
All right, while the slide comes on the screen, let's start speaking about what Pearson is. So next slide, please. Thank you. So Pearson is world's largest education company headquartered in the UK. We are about 180 plus years of education experience. So you can look at the legacy of, education, the kind of exposure experience, what we have had in those many years. In terms of our outreach, we are currently functional in about 70 plus countries with a total workforce of 24,000 colleagues working across the globe. If I try to put Pearson's offering into three big buckets, so I think it ultimately boils down to a quality content, which is more around Pearson publication, wherein we have a very strong and a big pool of business happening around our courseware, our content, which is relevant for the entire segment of learning curve, right from K-12 all the way to your higher education and to the master levels also. At the same time, we have our interventions going on around assessment tools. I'm sure you all must have heard of Pearson Test of English, Pearson View, doing various different assessments, various different, competitive examinations. That's where the assessment tools and that part of business lies. And third and most important aspect of this Pearson offering is around educational services. You must have heard Megha talking about H&D. So I think we'll keep our focus more around educational services, where we have this BTech High National Diploma is sitting. So in terms of educational services, we have LCCI qualification, which stands for London Chambers of Commerce and Industry. We have Edexcel School qualification, which is our international board. We have BTEC, which is Business and Technology Education Council qualifications. And these are primarily vocationally structured qualification. I'll speak more about this on the next slide. In terms of our user base, millions and millions of users are coming on our various platforms to make use of our content in e-mode or in the hard copy courseware format. Let's quickly try and understand what this Pearson BTech is all about. As I mentioned, this BTech needs not to be confused with Bachelors of Technology. Since I'm in Indian ecosystem, BTech is mostly related to Bachelors of Technology. Here, BTEC stands for Business and Technology Education Council, which is a well-structured qualification suite of a practical and interpersonal and thinking skill-based qualification, which are designed, which comes with a unique pedagogical design, which makes the learner understand in a comprehensive way that what is going to be the application of what we are learning today in the real world of work. You'll be delighted to know that these qualifications around 35 years ago were designed in due cooperation with sector skill councils of UK. And over the period of time, lots of industry academia has kept on, supporting us in updating and keeping these qualifications absolutely relevant to the current market needs. As I mentioned, our qualifications are offered in about 70 countries. In terms of total network, we have close to 800 customers offering these qualifications. These qualifications are available from level 1, which is considered equivalent to O levels or 10th standard, and they go on all the way till level 7, which is considered equivalent to a PG level. A gentleman in the left pane is Max Whitlock, who's a BTech sports learner. Max has won double Olympic gold medals, you can see. And Max happens to be our sports brand ambassador for BTech Sports Suite of Qualification. Just to speak more about our outreach, every single year we have about 1 million learners enrolling for our BTech qualifications. You'll be happy to know that every fourth learner going to university in UK goes by a BTech route, which means they have either studied BTech at level 2 or level 3 at the school level. And while progressing, they have some basic knowledge about that particular domain while they have moved into the university ecosystem. In terms of how these qualifications are supporting and benefiting our learners in order to convert that skill into the world of work, the data says around 90% of our learners, those who have completed BTech and topped it up with a university degree program, they are working in a full-time kind of a job roles. There's another important data point which is populated by HESA of UK, which is Higher Educational Statistical Agency, which says learners with BTech qualification in their year 1 are earning in the salary range of 18,000 to 32,000 pounds per annum, right? This salary range varies with a different subject options, with a different specialization option as well. So that's quite an encouraging data, wherein it is giving us a good indication in terms of these skills are absolutely well accepted and received by the world of work. And these learners are not facing any challenges after the qualification in order to convert their, qualification into an employment. All right. So this is the important slide where we are going to talk about, no, I think you're going too fast. Please go back to the previous one, please. It's important to know here why BTech. So these are internationally recognized qualification. It's not that what you have studied here in India, you will have to go to a different country and do a bridge course, or probably you'll have to bridge those gaps to, become employable in that part of the world. At the same time, every unit, every qualification brings in a different specialized pathways, which a learner can always pick and choose from, by means of which learner gets a lot of flexibility in terms of what specialization they may want to do within that particular qualification. If I quote an example of art and design alone here, so learner has an option to either select from fashion or fashion and textile or fashion design or interior design or photography. So there are different units, there are different combinations which our institution will have to, help them choose and, pursue the career or pursue the qualification and in that particular specialized pathway. In terms of progression, there are, holistically for all Pearson qualification, there are 348 universities across 27 countries. Those who are accepting and endorsing these qualifications for the progression purposes. A big chunk of these universities are sitting in United Kingdom. So we have these articulation arrangement with all these universities wherein the learner can, complete their high national diploma and smoothly progress to these universities to straight away go and join the third year of a degree program. And after studying for one additional year, learner gets a full-time degree from that particular university. In terms of post-study work, learner gets to enjoy 2 years of post-study work. I'm quoting an example for United Kingdom in current times. There are, as I mentioned, there are 348 universities. Amongst those universities, we have around 25 universities from top 100 and from the Russell's Group industry. Not just industries, not just corporates. There are more than 100 plus professional bodies, those who have, endorsed, those who have recognized these qualifications. While they keep giving us, inputs, they keep coming back to us with all those new industry trends in order to keep these qualifications updated and very, very relevant to the world of work. Make a next slide now, please. Thank you. All right, this layout clearly talks about the levels on the academic as well as on the BTech side. So as I was mentioning, so our O level is considered equivalent to level 1 of a BTech qualification. Similarly, it progresses. So level 1 and level 2 is considered until at level O level or GCSE, whereas level 3 is equivalent to our advanced subsidiary or A levels. And level 4 is the stage where we are going to speak about, because that's considered equivalent to a first year of undergrad program. So a learner who has studied level 4 will be awarded a higher national certificate. However, the learner who has studied level 4 and 5 will be awarded a higher national diploma. After higher national diploma, as I was mentioning, learner gets that opportunity to progress to foreign university to go and do the third year top-up. At this point in time, Pearson does not have rights to award degree. So that is the stage when learner is required to go to a university to convert their higher national diploma into a bachelor's degree. After that, there are different qualifications available at BTech Professional Suite, through which a learner can come and start to pursue a postgraduate level of learning. Next slide, please. As I was mentioning, there are universities which are among the top 100 universities. There are universities from the Russell Group, and they have been accepting our learners historically. There is an interface called Degree Finder. You can simply go and type that in the browser. One can go and look at that interface, which is a free access interface, through which you can always check and find out for yourself, for art and design, a particular specialized pathway in a given country, what all different universities are accepting your qualification, right? At the same time, I would like to mention here that we are speaking to a couple of universities to create a smooth progression, wherein you need not to go via UCAS, which is Universities and College Admission Services. It is going to be a conditional offer letter being brought to you right on day one, wherein the university will come and say, subject to a learner complying with 1, 2, 3, 4 different criteria in terms of the grades, in terms of their English language proficiency, can straight away come and start their third year journey with us at their campus. Next slide, please. In terms of employers, we have a lot of sorry, this is a different one. So here, I think there are about 16 subject areas within which our qualifications are available. Just to quote about the few recent ones, we have recently launched qualifications around artificial intelligence, esports, robotics, and many others, because that's going to be the need of an hour. And the new advancement, what we have done, we are slowly moving all these qualifications to online/blended mode of delivery, because COVID has put everything on halt, wherein we are finding it really difficult for learners to come to campus and do that, comfort of face-to-face delivery. So we are slowly moving away from the face-to-face delivery model, and we are trying to evolve our online or a blended mode of delivery. Though it is a slow progressing piece, because COVID is impacting all those developments the way we have planned right in the beginning. But yeah, we have so far converted 3 of our qualifications, which includes business, some units of engineering, and we are soon launching our higher national computing qualification also in the blended or online mode of delivery. In terms of employers endorsing our qualification, as you can see from the slide, we have British Telecom, we have Shell, we have Palm Jumeirahs, we have PricewaterhouseCoopers, we have CompTIA. They have contributed in content creation, or they are working with us for the employee upskilling or reskilling models. So you can clearly see that the qualifications, those who are accepted with such premium employer, are very, very relevant for all our learners to study and straight away get linked to the world of work. Not just this, I think in case you're keeping a track of our national education policy of 2020, which is focusing largely around vocational education, right? Just a quick snapshot. If you look at that 60-page document, you will find the vocational word has been used for about 76 times, which means the government focus is more around the vocational skills. I do not want to call it vocational, but let's use the word learning by doing, or maybe a hands-on kind of a skill set. So all these universities, all these institutions are slowly going to adopt vocational way of learning, which is going to create a lateral entry or a horizontal movement provision from vocational to the academics and vice versa. At the same time, these hands-on skills, vocational skills will be imparted right from school levels all the way till higher education ecosystem. And you will get to see very soon all these international universities will slowly come into India, and they'll start setting up their study centers in country here within India. On this note, we have Coventry of UK, Coventry University. They have agreed to set up in-country progression provision for our learners. And we are setting up our first study center for Coventry in Chennai. Talking about in-country progression, apart from the international universities coming back to India and setting up their campuses or study centers here, we have recently worked out our progression provision to Lovely Professional University also. They are accepting our business H&D pass-out learners to come and straight away join their third-year BBA lateral entry program and complete their bachelor's degree in just one additional year. Similarly, we have Jagannath University, which is in Jaipur. They have also agreed to accommodate 6 of our qualifications for the progression bit. And we have recently mobilized a batch of learners from Thane, Mumbai to Jagannath on the engineering and automotive engineering bit. So Megha, that's it for me for now. I'm happy to come in maybe later on once the question and answer starts. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing this. So I'm sure students would have known like what is the power of Pearson BTech with 100+ universities. So let me take a quick poll here. So in between, we would have a couple of polls. So we'll also gauge our attendees' feedback. So I am launching the first poll. Yeah. So you'll have 30 seconds to go. It's there on your screens. So 5 more seconds. I have only received 36% of votes. Please do it fast. Another 2 more seconds. I think there. Okay, so here are the results. So what the question was, what do you understand with the word progression? So 29% has understood it as initial 2 years in India, followed by 1 or 2 years abroad to complete your degree qualification. 46% actually says all of the above, which are like completion of higher national diploma to move to a degree year, then completing the degree year abroad. So 46% of people have understood that it is all three. Yes, thank you for it. Right. So now I would like to invite Natalie and Dr. Perry. We have heard about like what Pearson is doing and how are they collaborating. Now we have the representatives from the university, and the university which comes into the top 10 universities in UK. They are premium, they are recognized. And so let's hear from them. What do they think about the top-up degrees, about progression? What do they look into a student when they enter them, and what kind of assistance would the university be giving to the students? So over to you, Natalie.
Oh, hello. Hi. Thank you very much for inviting us today. Really honored to present to Arch College. I'm here as the program leader of the BA International Fashion. My name is Natalie Evans. We offer two pathway on the program I'm going to discuss. So if it's okay, I'm going to share a presentation, and Patsy, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself as well. Thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you very much for having us. I'm Dr. Patsy Perry, reader in fashion marketing here at Manchester Fashion Institute, and I've had quite significant input into developing our new suite of master's programmes, which I'll be excited to share with you during Natalie's presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so if you could please let me know if everything's okay, if you can see the presentation.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So thank you, as I said, for having us. I want to discuss, it was really interesting that Mr. Baljit Singh discussed the BTech and talked about progression and experiential learning. And I feel that the top-up degree that I'm going to be discussing today is a really nice bridge, because you know students who join us not only enjoy an academic education, but also acquire many lifelong experiential skills. And myself, I'm an alumni from Manchester Metropolitan, where I studied buying and merchandising, and I then went on to work in industry for over 10 years. The university served me incredibly well, and is very recognized for the fact that we are very practical. So many of our students, enjoy fantastically rich careers in buying, in fashion design, in merchandising, in product development throughout the world. So we are a big university. There's about 34,000 students at Manchester Met. The city is very vibrant because the Manchester has 3 universities. We are one of them. So you can imagine that 34,000 students multiplied by, potentially 3 universities. It's very rich, it's very lively, and it's a really happy place to be. We've got over 3,000 international students from 130 countries. In my program alone, the BA International Fashion Top-Up, we've got students from China, from India, from Canada, from Korea. So it's a really rich community of international learners. We've got 300,000 alumni from 170 countries. So we really are keen to keep the alumni connections going. We facilitate that by giving students access to our fantastic library resources through the career services, and so some great networking opportunities. We're constantly investing large amounts of resources into planning and developing our facilities. We've got the Soda School that will be launched shortly, and we constantly upgrading our facilities, purchasing new machineries. We have 14 research centers, so the university is very research active, and last but not least, over 150 sports club and societies. So we've got a very vibrant student union where students can do anything ranging from hockey to, I don't know, rock climbing, to singing, to theatre. So students have got many opportunities to make new friends throughout these societies. We are rated top 15 cities in the world. As you might have gathered from my accent, I'm French, and I came to Manchester having never been before and studied here. And I have to say that the Mancunians were really, really welcoming and warm. And 34 years on, I'm still here. So I absolutely love Manchester because I think culturally it's very vibrant and varied. So you will find any food that you may enjoy, whether that be, we've got a massive Chinatown, we've got a huge Indian and Bangladeshi area with all the shops and the fabrics and the spices and the restaurants. In terms of worshipping, again, we have many mosques, temples, churches. So I think it feels very encompassing as a place to be. The Mancunians are very warm and welcoming. So it's just some pictures here of the city itself. You can see we've got Salford Quay. Those of you like football, we've got obviously Manchester City and Manchester United, fantastic stadiums. You can see the archway here to our Chinatown. It's a city, I wouldn't say it never sleeps, but it's, you know, there's always something going on. And more so now that we're coming out of well, it looks like, or it feels like we're coming out of the pandemic a little bit in the UK. So things are really starting to heat up and becoming very lively everywhere. So that's an aerial view of the city. It was known as Cottonopolis. So in Victorian times, we had a lot of cotton mills. So scattered throughout Manchester and the surrounding areas, we have a lot of old mills that have been refurbished into apartments. And that heritage, that Victorian heritage, combined with, state-of-the-art, world-leading architecture, makes it quite a sort of an interesting combination when you're walking around. You can see the library here, Manchester Library, and the town hall. I'm not going to dwell on every photo because I know that the presentation is time critical. So I also wanted to highlight the fact that very near our doorsteps, you can hop on a train and within 20 minutes, you can be in the countryside. We've got the Yorkshire Dale, the Lake Districts, some very beautiful nature around us for you to enjoy in your free time, if you enjoy walking and sightseeing. So as I've said before, we are a very vibrant, multicultural community in Manchester. A lot of the heritage artistically in terms of fashion, music. I'm sure you will have heard of, the music scene in Manchester with Oasis and the Hacienda, and, lots of really amazing gallery, a brilliant nightlife, and of course, a very student-centered focus because there's so many of them around, which is what I love. So you can see a few images here. In fact, the one behind me, that's where you would be studying. It's the Wrighton building, which used to be a store in the Victorian times. So it was, it's a really lovely old Victorian building. You can see pictures of the School of Art and some of the studio spaces that we have. Oh, don't know what's happened here. can you see the screen share now, or do I have to reshare?
It's visible. We can see.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to play a little video now for you. It contains some testimonials of students, not just on the top-up degree, they're just students from the Manchester Fashion Institute at undergrad levels.
What I love about studying fashion here is that it has prepared me to enter the industry.
FDT is an exciting and challenging course, which I learned lots of industry relevant skills from design to garment making and business operation knowledge.
What I really love about this course is that it saves me so much time because I only need 1 year to get my degree.
What I love about studying fashion at Manchester Metropolitan University is the endless facilities provided by our fashion department.
Studying here really opened a lot of doors for me. I was able to participate and win external competitions.
And speaking from my experience, what they're teaching here is really what the industry is looking for in a graduate. They're pushing you to think more so you would have an advantage when you're competing with other graduates.
I was also able to take a placement year where I had the opportunity to gain industry experience in San Francisco and London.
Some of the advanced skills that I learned is like Gerber software and Curve 3D design, which make me so much more competitive.
I have learned so much in the last 4 years that it has prepared me to be really proficient in not only fashion design, but also that technological side of the industry.
So you get to meet people all around the world, know about their fashion market, know about their style. So it's really exciting.
I don't view MMU as just a university, but it's almost like a community. I feel very prepared for the industry because of the environment I study in, thanks to MMU.
So lovely testimonials from our students. I've taught all these students at some point because my specialism is fashion business. So I teach enterprise, business startup, etc. But I'm here as the program leader for the top-up. We talked about progression route, and we talked about experiential learning and vocational learning. And I think the course prepares students for all these things. So you have a choice when you join us to either do the business practice pathway or the design practice pathway. So the program is aimed at applicants from both business and design background. Obviously, when we're recruiting students, we're looking at your personal sort of letter or statement to see your motivations, your ambitions, and we make decisions based, if you want to go on the design practice pathway, based on your portfolio, and if you want to go on to the business practice pathway, we have an interview with you just to sort of gain where you're at, what you want to do. It's an informal discussion really, so that you have the opportunity to ask some questions as well. So you'll gain experience of both strategic and technical and creative aspects of fashion. Because it's very unique, the course, in the sense that you are studying these two pathways. Obviously, ethics, sustainability underpinned everything that we teach on the course, because Patsy would know a lot more than I do about this, because that's also one of your specialism, isn't it, Patsy? Sustainability. So, we embed this in all the programs pretty much, because none of us can ignore sustainability issues in the fashion supply chain. So on the design practice pathway, we provide worldwide fashion industry with skilled design professionals. Students go into, as well as design role, into product development roles. There can be quality control roles, there can be pattern cutters, garment technologists, and we want to make sure that when students leave us, they have an understanding of contemporary and emerging manufacturing and fabric technology enhancement, because obviously things are constantly moving. So we, as you will see when I talk about our resources, we're constantly investing in new machinery in order to keep up with the latest development in the supply chain. In terms of our design practice pathway, you explore what we do. We tend to work on a lot of sort of live project or current issue project, so that you explore real market insights and you are aware of all future global trends, so that you can develop, you know, strategic management and leadership skills and financial skills, because there is, of course, a strong business element on both pathways. Even design students will be learning, you know, about costing, product costing, fabric costing, and how to cost a garment. They will understand the retail margins, etc. So the way the course is designed, you have it's broken down into 4 blocks of 6 weeks. And you have some blocks that are shared between the design and the business practice pathways, and then some blocks that are specific to your pathway. So for instance, if we look at the fashion enterprise or fashion culture, that's an optional unit. So students on the design or business pathway can choose to do fashion enterprise, which is a collaborative project working with students from other courses, where you're developing a business proposition, creating a business plan and a lookbook, and you work as a group, and as I say, it's collaborative. Or if you're more singular, you might choose to do our fashion culture unit, which is a written piece of research of you choosing, but that focuses on sustainable practices, with it, whether that be, you know, sustainable business models or the future of sustainability in the luxury fashion industry, etc. In block 2, you have a unit called the Business of Global Fashion, and again, that's a collaborative unit taken by both pathways, and you working on a country of your choice. You're doing an analysis of a personal analysis of the country. You're looking at the consumers, you're looking at the competitors, and you're developing a brand to suit a specific target market. In block 3, the business practice students have a unit called Global Strategy, and design practice have industry project. The Global Strategy unit is a kind of a follow-on from the Business of Global Fashion, but it has a more in-depth, a more analytical approach to different business models. So you may select a specific country and look at, you know, key performance indicators, and you know, come up with a rationale for the development of a specific brand in your chosen country. And then you've got the industry project, and that in that you will do a video, you develop your portfolio, you will be doing toiles, pattern cutting, Gerber, and all the CAD skills that you require. And then in block 4, you have the negotiated project. So what we do here, we work with the career services, we look at what your aspirations are in your career, and we tailor the teaching and the project to your needs. So you're negotiating with your tutor, and you know, using, so for instance, I have a student this year that was really interested in cloth 3D. So he kind of, his whole portfolio and project centered around developing that technology and producing a collection. And the outcome of that being, for the design student, that you will have garments manufactured. So there are some of the outputs. In fact, there's an image here of the cloth 3D work that the final year student did. You know, we have students sort of working on, you know, the solar system, developing the collections around that. Or, you know, so students are analyzing markets and countries, or developing the collections based on their future aspirations. I think I'll let Patsy tell you a little more about the suite of masters. Thank you, Patsy.
Thank you. So this September we will be launching our new suite of master's programs. So we've developed these over the past year to provide a comprehensive offer of master's programs in fashion across fashion design and fashion business. So we have the MA Fashion Design Technology, which is a one-year fashion design program based on our hugely successful and very well respected undergraduate program of the same name. And then we also have 4 fashion business master's programs in international fashion business management, international fashion marketing, luxury fashion management, and fashion buying and merchandising management. And these really reflect the different industry routes that a graduate might consider to give them that springboard into the industry area, whether they want to start their own brand or whether they want to work for a global business, and give them the knowledge and the skills that they need to get into that industry route. And we have a fantastic cohort. I've been teaching the master's students this year. We have a really diverse cohort of students from around the world of different experiences. Some of our master's students have come straight from undergraduate study. Others have been in industry for 5 years, 10 years. We even have one student who's come back to do her master's after 20 years in industry. So it is a great opportunity for networking and also building friendships for the future. On the fashion business programs, we have a mix of core options where you will be in the class with other students from the other master's program. So again, great opportunity for networking and making friendships outside of your own program of study. And there's also optional units and also ways that you can personalize your learning depending on what your interests and your aspirations are. Happy to take any questions at the end, but I'll let Natalie move on with the rest of the presentation now. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm sorry if I take too long, so I'll try to speed up a bit. Thank you. So we've got staff expertise, like I was explaining. I'm an alumni from Manchester Met, went out in industry. Many of the staff that teach on the program have had that industry experience, which then facilitates networks. And, as I said, we work closely with our alumni. Our students go on to doing wonderful things, sometimes come back and teach as well. So it's a very rich environment where staff have got a true understanding of what goes on in the sector. So in terms of your teaching, we have lectures, seminars, tutorials, and each student is allocated a personal tutor. So you're guaranteed regular sort of encounters with your personal tutor on a one-to-one basis. We support your independent studies. We have fantastic library facilities. The studios are amazing. And we have industry visit. We have guest speakers from industry who come to speak to our students on a regular basis. They talk about their job roles. They talk about what they look for in a graduate. And we, of course, when we develop any course, we work very closely with industry to ensure that we meet the requirements of industry, because it's changing so fast. And we've seen during the pandemic, the job roles changing a lot, with online taking a greater portion of the market share. So we're working very closely with our networks. We collected with over 400 industry partners, from Chanel, Hugo Boss, Alexander McQueen. We work very closely with the British Fashion Council. In fact, at the moment, we're involved with the British Fashion Council show. I'm forgetting the name. Patsy, can you rescue me?
We're also a signatory member of Textiles 2030, which is a groundbreaking initiative between industry and other stakeholders to push for a more sustainable fashion industry in the UK. So we are really very well connected with industry, and we make sure that all of that feeds through into the programs and offers opportunities for students, perhaps through internships, guest lectures and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Thank you, Patsy. It's Graduate Fashion Week I was looking for. I just had a brain freeze. So we kind of really busy with that at the moment. And then we offer students, whenever possible, external visits. So that may be, a comp shop in London. We may visit some factories. We still have some local production taking place. We have networking opportunities, careers fairs. So about 2 or 3 times a year, we have key players from industry joining us in the business school, and students have got the opportunity to go on the stands, to swap business cards and do lots of networking. So in terms of career support, I've worked, for instance, with the Top Up this year. We had career services coming in every single week to help students set up their LinkedIn profile, to prepare for interviews. We had online video interviews. We've helped students prepare their CVs, their cover letters, how to tailor your CV or cover letter to a specific job, etc. So we constantly, we are aware that, education needs to be, vocational, and to ensure that our students get good positions once they leave us. And of course, we put every resources into ensuring that our students are very well prepared to seek employment or go on to a master's. So it's interesting this year with my Top Up cohort, it's about half and half, about half the class wants to do masters and the other half has already, gained employment. So, and some of them are still looking. So we're doing quite well. So we work with a lot of global companies like Nike, Burberry, Louis Vuitton, etc. And we have an employability hub in the business school. And that was developed about a couple of years ago. So you have a lot of staff on hand. Again, if you have any careers concerned, or you want some help to help you tailor your CV, or you want to do a practice interview, the career services can assist you with that. We've got state-of-the-art facilities, as I was mentioning, with workshop. We've got photography resources. We have technical support. Our technical team is second to none, and we have multi-million-pound investment in our technologies. What's really good for students, our library is typically open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have late opening and weekend opening in the studio, so students can carry on working. We've got access to fantastic databases, so business students will be interested in, Edited and WGSN and Drapers and the likes. WGSN obviously more for design students. We have LinkedIn Learning. We do enterprise boot camps about 3 times a year. And as I said, we have the career services. This is a list of all the some of the resources that we have on site. I'm not going to read through all of them, but needless to say, you can see that we're incredibly well equipped. You can see a photo here of one of our sewing rooms. We've got about 6 or 7 of those in the Brighton building. We've got a textile lab, which is fantastic as well, with our technicians on site. 3D body scanner. We work a lot with the fashion retailers to scan some of the population, so that we do project on sizing and size and fit, etc. So students can either use the technology for specific projects under the supervision of technicians, I used to add, or we as researcher, we do a lot of work with industry on sizing, etc. So this year we're going to have our class of 21-22 celebrations. I will be sending Archana and Benoy the link, so you can have a look at that. We've got the Manchester International Festival. Graduate Fashion Week, which I've just mentioned, and numerous international competitions. So in entry requirements, so because we are progression routes, that means you guys will be doing your HND, and then at the end of the HND, your second year, you then join the top up for your final year. So it's in 1 year you can get a degree, and then if you so wish, like many students do, you can do another year, and then you have a degree and a master's. So it's a fantastic opportunity to fast track your qualifications. So I can tell you a little bit about the entry requirement. I'm not really au fait with all the visa requirement, but we have Manchester Met office in Delhi, and we have members of staff dedicated to specifically to answering any question in regards to that. As you can see, you need an IELTS score of 6 with a minimum of 5.5 in each element. And as I mentioned before, if you were to apply on the top up, you would have to submit a portfolio, or we'd have to have an interview if you want to go on the business practice pathway. And then the scholarships as well. This year was on the 18th of May. The Vice Chancellor offers a scholarship for undergrad and postgrad student worth £5,000. And every year, I don't have the exact date for next academic year, but normally it takes place around mid-May. We offer scholarships of up to £3,000 for international students studying a postgraduate taught program, a scholarship of £2,000 per year for international students studying undergraduate programs, and various sports scholarship packages as well. I've put a link here for if you want to find out a little bit more about our undergrad or postgrad courses at the Manchester Fashion Institute. You can visit the link. If you're a bit concerned about a portfolio, how to do a portfolio, again, you can check our webpage, and there are some videos specifically for the Manchester Institute about the sort of things we will be looking for in a portfolio. So I'm sorry if I've taken too much time, but I hope it was helpful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was indeed quite helpful. So you have very well covered, all the aspects, that how to enter, then how the course breakup is, what you look while you enter a student, both in business and design pathways. And just to add for all the participants here, we have focused on fashion, but at MMU, you have all programs from graphics to interiors to photography to digital design and all of them courses. So
absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. So now we have with us Pratibin Vyas sir. So welcome, sir. And sir, I would request you to, talk to our participants, attendees here, and share your views on global education, especially in context to design, how global education and what difference would it create to the young designer's career. Yeah, sir, you're on the mute.
Hi everyone, and I think first of all, my apologies that I joined a little late because I was some board meeting was going on, and when I joined, then Manchester name came, and the city which I come from, it's called Manchester of India, and so that Ahmedabad was a textile capital, and there was so much of relationship between Manchester and Ahmedabad 50-60 years ago, that there was a lot of trade and a lot of movement of experts were happening between Manchester and the city which I live in, which is Ahmedabad. So I was very happy to hear, first of all. Now, you see, I was listening carefully, and I was really impressed with the facilities and faculty profiles and other explanation of various courses which you mentioned. And I would like to express to the students and parents who are listening today is that I always feel that the broader understanding of culture, also having exposure of in your formative years, exposure to different country, different environment, different people, ethnicities and all, it always adds up in your knowledge base. So UK is actually very, very good in terms of design education structure, meaning that the way evaluation of the courses or the course abstract papers or delivery of the courses. So it's a well defined over the years. The education system of UK I have witnessed is quite strong, and I would say it's important that if like the same way the Art College of Design and Management, the way it has come out, business has come out, is very unique. That which is in Jaipur, which is strong in culture again, and which has a kind of local and global perspective in design. So the students are getting very strong traditional inputs and also getting lots of visiting faculty and other what I have witnessed, getting the so in real sense it is local institute which is meaning, and post pandemic, meaning during the pandemic as post pandemic, lot of definition of design learning is changed. It is almost became a borderless world. You can do business sitting somewhere, having partner in different countries, continuously interacting. So that is another opportunity which I see, that if you go out after doing 2 years, I'm told that if you do it in art 2 years and then you go, so you have basically learned formative years, you have learned about design education in India, then you go out and then not only meeting the British students, but they are Chinese, they are Indians coming from different parts, there may be other part of the world they are coming. I think that exposure I always feel is very strong for your career prospects. It's not only learning from the classroom, it's learning from the city, learning from the food festival, all those aspects which I was looking at it, that you're taking them to museums, you're taking them to cities and all. So when you go and spend some time and come back, you start seeing things in India in different way. You start looking at it, that how the ways of seeing something was developed over there, and when you come back, so the further knowledge enrichment which happens. And you guys are lucky because you know English very well, and it's very easy as against to the Chinese student, because you don't have to struggle at all in terms of communication, in terms of grasping things. So that is another big advantage I see, that to have the training program in UK, because there is no language barrier you have, and that makes certainly your life very, very easy. So I would say that now the technology is moving very fast. The experiential design, interaction design, interface design, fashion, sustainable development goals, sustainability, luxury, all those terms which I was looking into. Not saying that you are you have to restrict yourself in sustainability and other thing, but what is the new model which you develop, which is sustainable and which also make you more money and you don't hurt environment. So the development and environmental what you call economic development and environmental growth going hand in hand, and that is what the learning which we want, to get exposed to the best of the minds of the world from both the countries and get exposed. So I am always for, when I was looking after India Design Council and the NID and setting up new schools, I always encourage the students that you must go for exchange. You must travel, because you learn so much by traveling. And when you make friends from different countries, you go to UK and you go to some other places and then come back. So the further enhancement of the knowledge. So the exposure, awareness, and lot of this, when we grow in the school education and all, lot of blocks are there because we have grown in one particular area. And you see that in design education, you have to break the blocks, because you have to really get into unknown areas, and unknown areas require lot of openness about thinking, appreciating about newer ways of looking into, having a very critical thinking. And that critical thinking is something which is not only coming from the books, but which is coming around talking to people and discussing about and experimenting. That's why the laboratories and labs, if they are well equipped, the what you call instructors who are giving you the trick of the trades, if you learn and with your creative ability, then it becomes the sky becomes the limit for you. Sky is the limit, almost like that. So I would say, while my exposure with UK and so many design schools which I have visited over there, the aspect of methodical teaching or the skill impart, very systematic way by skills which has been given, the theory part which has been given, the theory, skill, and then your aptitude which is there, which is connected with the skill, which is connected with the fundamentals. Once you mix it up with your culture and openness to the other cultures, and then your imagination becomes, meaning that then anything is possible. You know, with design, the best thing is that you can't say anything which is not possible. It is possible and you can do it. And that is the way I think you have to really set the goals and expose yourself as much as in student life, so that the career always allow you to go grow further and further. And that is what I would say. Even the post-graduation program, I heard that you spent 2 years and then 2 years you spend, then you get post-graduation and all. Post-graduation is also very good because you get into specialization. And the last point I would like to make is that you always develop yourself socially very wide and technically very deep, because as much as societal understanding you will have in a very broader perspective, and technologically and technically you go very deep, you certainly will become a very strong and solid designer, whichever area you go, whether it is a fashion or exhibition or photography or what, you will become a very solid thing. And that's why this exchange program, I'm always a promoter of that you do that. Maybe having entrepreneurship, I heard about entrepreneurship, have collaborative work, have a one person coming, sitting, who's your friend in Manchester, and you are here, and you come back and then set up a enterprise, and then see that nowadays after post-pandemic, meaning during the pandemic and post-pandemic, that world is again becoming a big market because of the e-marketing is becoming such a strong thing, then it really takes you to the higher level. So I would certainly like to recommend to take this kind of exposure and enrich your learning and aptitude. Means you will get what? The aptitude already you have, the attitude of learning which will be there, and you just put your sincere effort, then sky is the limit. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're on mute now, Tina.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. You know, I feel you have so very well validated all the discussions what we were having, and how hugely students can be benefited from the international exposure, not only academically, personally, and professionally as well. And their learning journey, their creative learning journey during these years would help them not only to develop a global perspective, but to build a vision for themselves. So here I would like to launch a poll once again quickly, and then I'll be going to Archana ma'am. So yeah, let me just launch this. Okay, so we wanted to know, like, what would be your preferred locations for higher studies? So you can choose any one of them.
Missed out on America, huh?
Yeah. So,
while we have the poll results, I think we can go on, right?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, so the results are here. So 52% have voted for UK, another 21% for Europe, then 18% for Canada, and 9% for Australia. And yeah, so I'll just take one more poll and then we'll go ahead. So I think this would also help us for like what courses, what would be your choice of course to study abroad? Yeah. Right. So interior design goes with 38%, then graphic design, then fashion, then we have digital and photography and product design in there. Yeah. Right. Thank you. Yeah. So as we were talking about, building global perspectives and how that would help you to shape up, to build your own vision, and which can ultimately lead you to, as sir also said, building an entrepreneurial venture, because world is now just a click away. You can reach out to anywhere, anybody on the planet with a click. So we are now one small digital family, I would say. So let me invite Archana ma'am, and I would request you to share from your experience of 22 years with Arch and much beyond that, how have you seen international education shaping up and students benefited out of it? So please. Yeah.
Thank you, Megha. First of all, I want to acknowledge our very special guest here today, Professor Pradyumna Vyas. And I think you just forgot to actually talk about him, but everybody knows him as the former director of the NID, National Institute of Design. And but I see him very closely as a mentor and somebody who's really believed in our indigenous knowledge systems. And while we are talking about global education, it's very important first to recognize your own, community, your own space, and the value systems that exist there. So while we had Natalie, who is here with us, and Professor Patsy Perry, both of them are here from Manchester Metropolitan. I welcome you here today to this session on global education. And while you did share about, Manchester, the beauty that it brings in, the cities, the culture, the sports, the art traditions that it has, the industry that it nurtured, it's so amazing that, it's very important to first recognize your own strength and your own talent before you actually start venturing out. So I have a very special point here to make that, Professor Vyas is somebody who has nurtured the values of indigenous knowledge system within the NID, whereas he has looked at exchanges, collaborations, projects with international forums, while he's sitting as a board member with the WDO, which is World Design Organization, which is one of the biggest, and the oldest in the space of design. We have a Indian who's again from Ahmedabad, Srini Srinivasan, and is a board member with him. I understand he will bring in a lot of value to the institution, being our advisor now. And he did start with the whole idea of local, yeah. So the word global, the glocal word, which is actually emerged from the word local, and then goes the word global. So it's very important to recognize the local strength and talent. So what this, today's whole idea was to have that the first 2 years that a student studies in India gets the whole indigenous knowledge context and the localized understanding. And then when he takes that forward to a global community, whereby you did talk about that Manchester has a flourishing community coming from 170 countries. You're actually taking your heritage to the world. You are talking about something that would bring in a collaborative work, the whole idea of co-creation. And that's where I see as the essence, the big vision of bringing global education to Arch College. And while we've been offering the BTech HND programs for the last 7 years, we realized that, yes, there have been a lot of challenges with Indian students understanding the UK system. So it did take some while, but today when I look at the way design education is, when we look at as very inclusive, it's very interdisciplinary. The whole essence, wherever you're coming from, if you can bring that connect together, the idea is to not look at what the UK is or what India is. It's about bringing the dots together. And I think the best of both worlds, when they come together, I think that's the best thing that can happen. I remember in the year 2000 when I just started very small, and I took the opportunity of going to De Montfort University to do a professional course in contour design. And that was a 1-month program. It completely opened up a whole new world for me, because when you go to a different environment with people from different parts of the world, there's a lot of learning itself is there, because, the tolerance to different cultures, that is what this new generation requires. The true learning, not about following somebody. It's not about, aping somebody. It's about bringing the best of two worlds together. And I think this collaboration that we have with Manchester Metropolitan University and the MFI, the idea is to bring the best of two worlds together. And I think today, India is a great research ground for foreign institutions. We have the RISE project, which is going on, which is a Erasmus Plus project right now. We have 3 European institutions, Belgium, Netherlands, and Finland, right? And we have 3 institutions here in India. We're working on what is social entrepreneurship and sustainable entrepreneurship, how the world perceives it differently, right? So, it's so beautiful that why we are collaborating, because we want to learn from each other. And I think it's a great, the times are so important that, as Megha rightly pointed out, we are a digital family today. At a click away, you and me could connect, which we never thought. We had the Zoom and before the COVID as well, but we never planned a session like this. So the beauty that, the whole digital experience can bring us getting more closer together. I think we have great opportunities to look at classroom projects, joint projects. For the last 2 years, we've been doing joint projects with Saxion University, which is a buyer-seller project. Very interestingly, and it was a great learning experience. They put up an exhibition there. We created the clothes. We had a brief. So these are opportunities which come together. Similarly, when we did the British Council UKERI project, which was the UK India Education Research Initiative project, so which was on design communication, that was way back in 2013-12. That I actually thought that design communication, rather than communication design, I thought design communication was what the world needed. We need to communicate our strengths. We need to talk about our collaborative efforts. And that's how we brought a portal together. And today, all our students or alumni work is on that portal. And this was out of that collaborative venture that we actually brought together. So when you look at, all the different possibilities are there in terms of joint projects, exchanges, a progression top-up degree, doing a master's. There are a lot of aspects which are very interesting, both for a student and a parent, because, you save a lot of money, especially when you're studying in your own country. You get cued into the subject well. You understand from an international perspective, because the pedagogy is put in place for you already, which is to aim to make your progression smooth. Right. So these are very interesting things. And I would completely agree with, while you talked about MMU and the way you run the programs and the infrastructure that you have, I've been to Manchester and I've seen the art and design school where you got the product design, the other courses, the interior design, and the best of beautiful, the building that you've completely renovated. So it's quite fascinating. And we had Andrea Zapp during the fashion colloquium here. And, we talked about SODA, the School of Digital Arts, and how we need to collaborate there. So I am now looking at, MMU, looking at a larger partnership than just the fashion program in terms of the progression agreement that we're looking at for our students. And definitely we would like this know-how to come to us more frequently so that our students get more easily absorbed into the system. As Professor Vyas did point out, that with the Chinese, you might find language as a barrier, but with the Indians, language wouldn't be the barrier. So that's very, 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 potent what he said, because language definitely is an important aspect. And while Professor Vyas is sitting on the board of the World Design Organization, where again, cutting edge work is being done, where you have the industry and the bodies, the academic body, they all sit together on this forum. This is one forum. that's there. We also are on Cumulus. Tomorrow we have Cumulus Rome starting with more than 300 member institutions from across the globe. So I think there are great opportunities of global education being brought to young people now, with the digital becoming so much possible. And as we all know that Professor Vyas, he's got his doctorate from UCA, University of Creative Arts. And so that makes it all the more interesting, the UK connection that he brings in here with us. And he was just telling me yesterday that he taught at Ireland in Ireland for 3 years before he actually joined the NIT and served it for more than 30 years. So there's a lot of international connections and collaborations that we are looking at. And him having looked at the design mark, the India Design Council in the country, these are all collaborated with international forums. So I'm sure that, we are available to make sure that whatever questions and queries our students have, we'll be able to sort it out for them. And thank you, Pradumna sir, for joining us despite for having a full day board meeting. You stepped out of the meeting to be on this forum. That's very kind of you. And we look at your mentorship, your support, your guidance on whatever we've built in these last 21 years. We're going to grow leaps and bounds with your, guidance and support now. And Jane has been such a great connect, Jane Ledbury, she's your head of international affairs, and Jane was there for a convocation as well, and as Professor Vyas was there. So I see that Jane could make it possible despite you've got the jam that are coming up and a lot of things are already in the pipeline. But on a short notice, we could make this possible because we had a lot of queries coming from young people that they wanted to know that what's possible, how are we going to do it, where are we going to stay, is it easy, it's going to be after COVID, what is going to be the scenario? Are you looking at a more blended learning model this year, or are you looking at on the campus? That's a question that I have, Professor Patsy and Natalie. Yeah. So is it still online, or are you looking at the campus getting ready for us, your students, you receiving them?
Do you want to respond to that, Patsy? Or
I mean, we're preparing for both scenarios. Of course, it's better to be on campus in person for many activities, but it is also quite efficient to deliver some activities online. And again, we would have to follow government guidance, which can be changing from week to week. So we're not sure yet.
So the good thing is, anyway, a student who gets enrolled anyway comes to you after 2 years. So after 2 years, things will be a bit different, I'm sure. And it's not going to be that challenging. And I have a young Manan who's here with us, who's just, come back from London and been at Central St. Martin's, and now has taken his step into making sure that the students who study at Arch can beautifully get a global education. So Manan, would you like to share you had a point of view that I'm sure you'd like to share with all of us.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Very nice to see all of you here, and it's been very informative listening to all of you. So my experience has been very interesting, but I think as an Indian student myself, and being a couple years ago at the place where a lot of students here are, I felt that this model that Pearson offers sort of opens a new bridge to a very different model to education, where there's a comfort zone for parents, the student, and the education deliverer, like the university or the colleges they're going to or they're studying through from. So which enables them to be prepared, that they feel more ready when they're going abroad, they're more confident. By the third year, they know what they want. So a lot of them aspire in India. A lot of students aspire. The parents they say that, okay, you do your undergraduate right now from India and do your postgraduate when you go outside. But I think that sort of, doesn't prepare them well enough. This model, the Pearson model, enables those students to be prepared when they're going in their third year. They know how the system works, what research actually means, how to go about it. And when you go there in your third year, you get exposed to a lot of new things, a lot of new practices. Then you're already coming from a cultural and a very indigenous knowledge background from your own country. So that sort of get pushed down with the modernization and the new teaching aids and techniques that are available there. and then that ultimately supports their master's studies. So when a lot of parents are saying that you should go directly for your master's, I find it that I think that's not the way, because a lot of times master students are not prepared for taking on that sort of understanding and that sort of detailed dive into research, which I think the Pearson model really helps the students with. That's about it.
Thank you, Manan. So we can just have any views that you have, any questions that we have to Professor Vyas or Dr. Perry and Natalie. So do you have any questions, Megha?
One question is about the jewelry design. So if you can, the students are asking, like, is there any opportunities for jewelry design also?
So I'll tell you, because we've been talking to Birmingham City University, and Professor Bottomley is very keen to get our jewelry students. He was very happy to see the portfolios. So I'm sure that, that will be worked out, and they are the best when you come to UK, one in Birmingham and the other one in Edinburgh, in fact. So I'm sure that that will be able to help them out, because I don't think many schools now in the UK have jewelry. They're only very specialized ones who actually offer jewelry. Am I right, Natalie? That's what I have understood. Yeah.
I mean, we do have jewelry, but it's part of a broader product design degree or craft degree where you can specialize, but it's not completely jewelry. So it's a very niche area, isn't it? So that makes sense if you look at Birmingham or Edinburgh for that specialism all the way through.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Any other question, Megha?
Yeah. So one question is, like, if a student has done BDes in interior design, then how can they go for international studies? So I think masters. Yeah. So after so they can go for master's degree and.
Yes, you can do a master's if you have a BDes, I should think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4-year bachelor's in design is pretty comprehensive, and then I think because today design education is so universally done in the same way, in the context, the cultural and the contextual understanding is different, but the process that you go through is almost the same when it comes to design studies across the globe. I think so. It really does not limit a student in terms of a master's studies. Manan does has a point, but that is when you're moving out of your 12th standard. But if you've actually studied design in a design school in India, it does not limit your view in terms of a master's program. And I'm sure that because India is a great research ground, so I think the know-how that comes from the Indian ecosystem is a great, subject to build on in terms of coming back and contributing back to your country or in a more international perspective. Yeah.
So there was another question which I think Dr. Patsy has answered, but for everybody's benefit, I think I would repeat it again. So one student has asked, about the funding of the studies at Manchester Metropolitan University. So is students loan or scholarships are available, and what is the process to achieve them? So we did cover, but if you would like to repeat it for them.
I'd like to.
I think it's probably best to have. Have a look at the web page.
So you said for undergraduate is £2,000, and for the masters is £3,000 for international students. That's what I remember, because I picked it up because I know that's got to be on my tips, because that's a question that would come to me again and again.
That's the information that have been given, but I think really anything in relation to this sort of matters, visa application, everything, you can perhaps combine a set of questions for us if you would like, and then we can find out the responses for you. And then, as Patsy was saying, there's a lot of information on the website as well. So, I don't want to make any promises because, I'm just delivering information I've been given. So, some of it might be on a case-by-case basis. It depends on the agreement that you have with our institution. So, so it might be better if you compiled everything for us in one email.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. Professor Vyas, last word from you that we would like to hear. I know you came out of one meeting and then stepped into another one. So I'm sure that, you know, there's lots that you have, because with your kind of experience and building an institution of international repute, I'm sure that, you know, your words will hold a lot of...
No, surely I like to have busy schedule, and luckily today was a busy day. 9 o'clock onwards, it's going on. No, I was just thinking about one new way of looking at it, that this partnership. Patsy, you can carry this idea forward. You see, you're looking that suppose 2 years, the Arch Academy, our Institute of Design and Business, their students, after spending 2 years, getting a very solid base of Indian way of looking at culture, design, methods. They go to your institution and spend 1 year or 2 years, something like that, and get the twin degree or whatever system which is there. I think what need to be proposed is that the students who are going there, some of your students, which may be coming from China or UK or wherever, they should also come to Arch Institute. So you see, then this becomes a total complete, that you get exposure in UK, and then UK students are getting exposure here. And this group of maybe 10 students, 5, 15, whatever number, who have this exposure both the sides, I think in a real sense, that bonding of understanding, because India, especially the Jaipur, is so much to offer, that it will also be a totally mind-blowing experience for the students who are there. Obviously, the students who are going from there, they are going to share, but they come and they see that what kind of I don't know you have visited Jaipur or not, but when you come, it opens up totally a different point of view. And I have seen when I was in NID, you know, that I must have signed 60 or 65 MOUs altogether in my tenure. And I saw that there was a tremendous urge of foreign students to come and spend time in India, because it was also a very lifetime experience for them in terms of learning from the culture, learning about sustainability and all. So I don't know, Archana, how you can really work it out, but if it is possible that the Indian students go there and they also come with this students from there, and that it becomes a real, and you can work out the fees structures and other things in different countries, and it will be a real sense, I would say, twinning program.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. But this for today, we looked at the top-up progression to complete a degree in a university system, and we do have exchange with Ecole Boulle in Paris for our jewelry students. We have with NASCAD, Nova Scotia School of Art and Design in Canada. And similarly, there are other programs which are there where we have student mobility. So we've just signed one with Sapienza Rome. So these are a couple of things which are always there. And I know we were exploring a semester study possibility.
No, I'm talking whether our system allows or not, but you also give them degree, they also give them degree. And both the sides you get degree about foreign students and your students. I don't know whether
it's a bit rigid with the Indian system. Yeah. It's a bit difficult with the Indian university system. But yes, within the education know-how, a semester exchange is something that's within, because the UK system is more flexible in terms of they having more autonomy. Yes, there are possibilities of a semester exchange, and these are things we are exploring already. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much for making this.
Okay. So I think I would like to take one last poll wherein we would like to understand the interest areas of all our participants. So here it is. And, to add, meanwhile, for the things like what we initially also discussed, with Baljeet also said, and Natalie also shared, like at Arch, it's a 2+1+1 system, wherein first 2 years of your college education, you study here in India with us. Third year is your progression, where you go and complete your level 6, which is the top-up degree. And in the fourth year, student can go and do their master's degree too, which is an optional degree. So this kind of system helps an Indian student or the design students, one, it is a cost-effective education system, because the cost in India and then abroad varies a lot. It's almost 1/4. So it's a cost-effective education system you can go for. It's an integrated learning wherein you would be learning through lectures, workshops, studio practices. There'll be a lot of visiting and full-time faculty members nationally, internationally. You can, as ma'am also said, shared, we have international summer school, exchange programs. We do a lot of international joint projects, like we were doing one with the Sexion University. So all these are the key features. And definitely, if you are there in India also, we have financial assistance for our students. There are scholarships. So we conduct our All India entrance examination for design, which itself is a unique way of, it is what even sir also said here. It is not only about your, it's also about your attitude, just not your aptitude, which we would like to see at Arch. So based on your exam, you can earn scholarships. Then this year we have taken special initiatives where people who are affected, like, the breadwinner of the family is, if anything has happened in the family, Arch is there under its welfare scheme to support those students and offer them scholarships. Art students and alumni, if they have their siblings who are interested in joining in, they would be getting scholarships. And we are there to support the boards of artisans to teachers, our frontline workers from defense services, like for giving them the appropriate scholarships here. Yeah. So here are the results. Okay. So 29% of the people are interested in sustainable design. Then second goes luxury design and digital design are same. And then research and social entrepreneurship at 15%. So this is what people are more interested in. So, yeah, it's visible. Right. So, ma'am, anything you would like to?
My thanks to everybody who've been able to join this. Baljit is not here. Thanks to Pearson, thanks to MMU, thanks to Professor Vyas and Megha for you to coordinate. You've coordinated all together. You brought all of us together. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was all my pleasure. And I'm sure everybody who has attended it would have been benefited out of the session. And this session was live on YouTube, so which would be available for, if you want to go back, you want to share, talk to your parents, you want to show them. So the session is live on YouTube. You can go re-watch it. So thank you so much for your time, everyone. It was a pleasure listening to you, and it was a very informative session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.